Good afternoon. My name's Chris Brown from Morgans Financial. We're here on the third day of the Noosa Mining and Exploration Conference, and maybe you can hear in the background there's an awful lot of noise because there's an awful lot of people. A very vibrant mood here. I'm with Richard Laufmann, who's the Managing Director of Rex Minerals. Rex has got the Hillside Copper Project as the focus in South Australia. Got a good gold story in Nevada as well, but firstly on copper, which everyone says is going to benefit from the electrification of everything. Richard, can you tell us a bit about where the Hillside project is now? It's been around for 10 or 15 years, so what's the current state of play?
Thanks very much, Chris. It's super exciting point in the history of this project. Discovered 2009, and 15 years. That's what it takes to drill out and permit a project nowadays. It doesn't happen quickly, but we've done the hard work. We've got a 2 million tonne resource, a 1 million tonne reserve. It makes it the third largest reserve in Australia after Olympic Dam and Carrapateena. We're fully permitted to go into production. We're completing the update of our feasibility at the moment, given the hyperinflation time that we're running into. And we want to go in and begin construction by the end of this year. So we're planning for FID in Q4 this year. And look, Chris, if you don't mind me saying, there's a couple of good places in the world to be today. Australia's one of them. Western Australia is always one of them. And South Australia is amazing, right? And if you want to be in copper, the Great Olympic Dam, Prominent Hill, Carrapateena, and next Hillside, you got South Australia. And now we have a Labor government, federally and in state, who are both empowered in their own right to get things done. They don't have to cut kooky deals. So the time is right for this country to seize the day and back an investment like this into development. Doesn't happen often.
And what are you talking about with the Hillside project? What's the resource base and the expectation that you have for mining and processing? Is it all standard stuff?
It is. It's we're kind of lucky we have quite low uranium, which is a feature in South Australian deposits. Almost nothing of anything else, so it's a very clean concentrate. We want to start at 35,000 tonne of copper a year, 24,000 ounces of gold, but that's just the start. The plant's built to expand. We want to expand to over 40, and then in stage 2 to well over 50,000 tonne of copper. This should have a mine life well in excess of 30 years. We don't know how long. We don't know what lies beneath, but it's pretty exciting. We haven't drilled deeper than 700 metres. So the ore body seems to be plumping up at depth. Grades are increasing. But
that's fairly new, isn't it? No one's ever looked at depth before. What are you doing there to look to depth apart from drilling?
So after a lot of convincing, we ran a very comprehensive 3D seismic, which is a bit of a new tech. Seismic's not new, right? But a group in WA called High Size market a 3D seismic package, and we ran it over our licence area. Got to say, we're expecting some results, but we weren't expecting what we saw, right? It's just blowing our minds. We think we might have discovered the heat source that provided the impetus for the copper, and it's not far beneath us. So they've never discovered the heat source of Olympic Dam or Carra or Prominent Hill or most of the big mines around the world. But when they do, it normally means something pretty good, right? So we're super excited about that. But that's down the track. Right now, we're racing towards meeting a development time frame. And what a time. Like, everyone's talking about copper, which is great. But do you know how many smelters are being built in India and Indonesia and everywhere? These smelters have to be fed. It's easy to build a smelter. If you have money and a power source, you build a smelter. You get ready to pump copper into your country. But it's not very hard to find. It's very hard to find a copper mine, and it's even harder to permit it and develop it. So the smelters are being built, not many mines coming online. We are racing towards one of the biggest catastrophes in history.
Richard, the cost of diesel's gone up a lot lately, and it's affecting the diesel-powered miners who've got diesel-driven camps and diesel-powered, diesel-electric processing plants and diesel equipment. Are you going to be caught by the increase in costs associated with rising diesel prices?
Yeah, look, for sure everyone's going to get burnt as inflation hits. But a couple of big advantages to our project. We have the full infrastructure of South Australia runs to our doorstep. The state's already nearly 70% renewable in the grid, and we're running off the grid. Well, we're using some of the biggest plant and equipment on the planet, so we've built in low-cost earth moving. And look, the best way to fix cost is to produce more metal. Not a lot of mines can do that. They're fixed around what they were designed at. This mine has got inbuilt expansion that could nearly double, and that fits in with its license conditions. So we're in a great place to change the game for copper production, and it's open pit mining. It's fairly straightforward.
Richard, it's the main game is Hillside, but you've also got a reasonable sized gold project in Nevada. It is, I'm not going to say it's second string, but the main game is Hillside and copper. But can you tell us a bit about the Nevada gold project, Hog Ranch?
Yeah, we couldn't help it. Hog Ranch became available. It used to belong to Western Mining back in the 80s. They paid $100 million US for it then. They pulled out of North America before having a crack or exploring it. It fell into our hands. We only spent $600,000 in paper to buy it, and it had no ounces. It's got over 2 million ounces now, heap leachable. It's just turning into a phenomenal site. It looks way bigger than we ever expected. It clearly has way more ounces. We can see that just in the old Western Mining drilling. But the drilling done in the day wasn't deep enough or good enough to put it all into resource. That's coming. But, you know, what a find. And that's sitting in our little company, not carrying a cent of value. And people are focused on our copper project. It's going to be a burster.
And Richard, everyone's worried about money and where they're going to get it and how much they've got. How much have you got, and what's your burn rate looking like going forward?
We've got $44 million in cash.
And your market cap?
Is about $90 million. We own $30 million worth of farmland. So if you compare us to any deal in the copper space, forget gold, that's free. That's 2 million ounces for free. But if you compare us to anyone in the copper space, this is the sort of investment you make for your grandchildren, right? And you end up looking like a hero. There's only one way for Rex Minerals, and it's up. And a country needs that at this time. This is nation-building stuff that's going to change the future. Like, copper is one of those metals fundamental to every step of electrification. So it's not if, it's when. The timing's now for us, and we've done the hard work.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks very much. Richard Laufmann, the Managing Director of ASX-listed Rex Minerals at the Noosa Mining Conference. Again, thanks, Richard.
Thanks very much, Chris. Thanks, Morgans.